Oliver Aiku is one of the best defenders and one of the best players in Blue Lock. He was introduced as the captain of the U20 team right before they play against Blue Lock 11. And even before the Neo Egoist League, in only one game he managed to gain the heart of many Blue Lock fans. And he is also one of my favorite characters. In this video we'll be discussing his abilities as well as his character. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to leave a like and subscribe, but only if you enjoy. And you can let me know in the comment who's your favorite player in Blue Lock. You can also tell me what you think about Oliver Aiku. And now, without wasting any more of your time, let's get into it. First thing first, we gotta talk about his abilities. First, he has great strength and physicality that allows him to even subdue people like Shido Ryusei that are very experienced in fighting. It also allowed him to win multiple physical battles against Itoshi Rin. He also has insane reflexes and reaction speed, which allowed him to stop multiple shots, especially when it counted the most. Then he has his spatial awareness and his vision. His vision is so advanced that he can even see numbers. By that I mean he can see the percentages or chances of somebody getting past him, and he can then use that information to defend efficiently. All of those combined make him one of the best and most complete defenders, being able to stop a countless amount of shots from the best strikers from Blue Lock. And it is crazy because the only battles he lost the whole game was that one goal from Rin and the one time Bachira got past him. When it comes to Rin's goal, he not only used Isagi as a decoy, but he also scored with an outside spin with insane curve that was almost impossible to predict. For Bachira's case, Bachira was so fast and unpredictable with his dribble that even Aiku did not see that coming. But aside from Rin's goal, every single goal that Blue Lock 11 scored was goals when Aiku was either not involved or very far away from the ball at that time. First we had Nagi's goal. With Isagi being a decoy for Yukimiya, Yuki was sure to score after that. But of course Aiku was there, and as Blue Lock kept pressuring the U20's defense, Nagi manages to score while Aiku is not in the way. Then we have Baro's goal. After Itoshi Sai blocked Isagi completely, he tries to pass it to Rin that is automatically checkmated by Aiku. But without no one expecting it, Baro comes out of nowhere and scores a goal. Which makes sense because I don't think even Aiku or Sai can predict that he's going to play against his own team. And then for the last goal, after the confrontation between Sai and Rin, the ball randomly goes behind Aiku and lands at Isagi's feet, not allowing him to step in the way to block that last shot. Aiku also possesses meta vision that he used unconsciously during the U20 game, but that he now has mastered in the Neo Egoist League. Now that is about it for his abilities. We now need to talk about his character. As I said before, Aiku is one of my favorite characters in Blue Lock, and there are two main reasons for that. The first one is simply how cool he is, his design, how he acts and everything along those lines. And the second one is the fact that he has a different purpose from everybody else. Just like Isagi, Aiku was also a striker whose ego got destroyed by his former coach. But the difference between the two is that really influenced Isagi in a bad way, and he was probably going to fail as a striker if he wasn't for ego and Blue Lock projects. Aiku, on the other hand, decided to become a defender. His main purpose to destroy all the boring strikers that the adults in Japan keep creating, but also to become somebody that can protect and shelter every strikers that has an ego for themselves and that are actually trying to be unique. He knows what he went through and he doesn't want to inflict that to anybody else. Because the way Japanese coaches work is that they want you to play a certain way, they don't want you to be unique. If anybody tries to be unique, they simply shut them down, allowing them to have control on every striker that they coach. But as we all know, that is very bad for their development, and they end up either becoming basic strikers that have nothing special about themselves, or they simply grow to hate football in the future. And being a victim of that himself, Aiku realizes how great of a project Blue Lock is, and he even went on to say that if Blue Lock happened anytime sooner, he could have been part of it. Next, we need to start talking about Aiku's stats. Aiku is a player with an overall stat of 85. That is not the best we've seen, but that is very good nonetheless. He has a defense stat of 93, which is his only S-class stats. He also is the player with the highest defense that we've seen since the beginning, except for Gagamaru that has the same stat. But I think Gagamaru's goalkeeping skill is part of that defense stat. So for the pure defenders, Aiku is the one with the highest stats that we've seen yet. I know Lorenzo is probably higher, but we didn't see his stats yet. He has a speed stat of 81 and a pass stat of 83. These are his only A-class stats. Not the highest, but still very decent. Aiku really falls short when it comes to his defensive capabilities, with a B-class stat when it comes to dribbling, shooting, and the offense in general. With a dribble stat of 76, a shoot stat of 77, and an offense stat of 72. B rank isn't necessarily bad, but it is not very good either. Which brings me to my next point. People expecting Aiku to score just because he used to be a striker. Now, I'm not saying that it is completely impossible, anything could happen. But in my opinion, it has been made pretty clear that Aiku was going to be a full-time defender. Even though during the U20 game he did try to score, it was simply because he saw the perfect opportunity and he had to take it. But seeing his offensive stats, as well as the way his character is portrayed, it is almost guaranteed that Aiku is not planning to score anytime soon. Unlike some players that go forward when they switch the formation, Aiku always stays behind. I know Nico is not the best at it, but I see Nico scoring before I see Aiku scoring. Now we also have to address meta vision. A lot of people are mistaken about meta vision. They think it is supposed to be something that is special, something that only a handful of players could develop. And now that we see more and more players getting it or confirming that they already had it, a lot of people are getting upset saying that they destroyed the hype of meta vision. But what they misunderstand is that meta vision was never stated to be anything special. For all I know, it is probably something that is completely natural for Kaiser. Isagi simply saw the way he used his eyes and tried to use it, and to him it felt like something completely different, like he had the vision of a superior being. But I really think a lot of people on the world stage already have that ability. I'll even go as far as saying that some players completely surpass meta vision with their eyes, and I wouldn't be surprised if a player like Pablo Cavazos could do that. There's also something that a lot of people aren't noticing, but meta vision is not the only eye technique that is being used at the moment. We also have Barrow's Predator Eyes, and it wouldn't even be crazy to me if I learned that Bachira also had a version of Predator Eyes, but that is indeed for another video. All this to say that Aiku, Nico, Rio or anybody else having meta vision is not anything special, it's not a problem. It was never supposed to be something for Isagi to be unique. It was simply something that Isagi needed to get better. As you can see the large difference between Isagi's performance in the Barcha games and in the beginning of the Menshine game, and at the end of the Menshine game and the beginning of the Ubers game. From the moment where he understood meta vision and started using it, he shifted completely and went from somebody that was probably not even in the top 10 to somebody that is one of the best now. Now for the last point, we need to just talk about how good Aiku is. I know I already said a lot, but we need to add more to it. I want to compare him to Lorenzo. Now I'm not saying that they're on the same level. All I will say is that Aiku is like Lorenzo but on a lower scale. If it wasn't for Kaiser that take all his attention, Lorenzo would completely be destroying the whole team. But if we think about it, Aiku was basically doing the same thing in the U20 game. Up until Rin's flow state, Aiku was being a complete menace, with Bachira and Rin being the only one that beat him that whole game. Literally the only way to score was to just take another route. It was to completely avoid Aiku. Even Rin, that was shown to be so overpowered before that game, was being completely locked down by Aiku. But do we see how Lorenzo is putting his full attention on Kaiser and is leaving the rest of his defense alone? Aiku was doing more than that. He was literally there to put everybody on the list, stopping Isagi, Yukimiya and Rin multiple times. And the only reason why I do not call Chigiri getting past him a win over Aiku is because not only before they even finished the play, Aiku had the chance to get back in position, which means he wasn't even completely beaten. But there's also the fact that Chigiri beats everybody the first time, because you don't know what he's made of, so no matter how many people you put on him or how good of a defender you are, it will always get past you the first time. And then most of the time he gets locked down for the rest of the game. Chigiri did the same against Bastard. You just never expect him to be that fast. But even if we're willing to count this, that will mean that Aiku only lost 3 times. To summarize my point, Lorenzo is checkmating Kaiser while leaving the rest of the team without help. Aiku is checkmating Rin while checkmating every other players on his team. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, but only if you enjoyed. And let me know in the comment what you think about Aiku. You can also tell me who's your favorite character, and what you think about my analogy between Aiku in the U20 game and Lorenzo in the Ubers game. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.